President Trump doubles down on his criticism of Starmer's war on free speech in the UK. A section of the last night's drama in the Oval Office was not broadcast by the British mainstream media, but we're going to be showing you in this live stream. And of course, we're going to get your reaction live in the show. Welcome back to 2CTV, your global news channel. Ladies and gentlemen, the drama that started yesterday in the Oval Office, the backlash continues. Earlier on, we reported about, obviously, Keir Starmer hosting President Zelensky in Downing Street. Then they went to number 11 Downing Street, where the Chancellor Rachel Reeves signed another couple of £1 billion in the loan package to Ukraine. And then they're going to go see King Charles. The European leaders are having an emergency meeting again to do a proper Ukraine summit. Justin Trudeau from Canada is coming to Europe. They're all going to meet away from the US. Obviously, the divide between Europe and the US is getting bigger and bigger. But we have to talk about what actually happened yesterday. Because since last night, obviously, because of everything that's happened with Starmer, it might not have been the best tactic, because the Trump administration are now continuing to brief against Britain's free speech regulations. We have restrictions on free speech in the United Kingdom. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, Ofcom, we're going to discuss that. And cancel culture in Britain is not really just coming from the government. It's also tribalist nonsense. In this live stream, we're also going to be talking to you about something that happened on X against this channel and myself and my fiance, for the record, because pro-Zelensky people are now attacking us for criticizing their dear leader. Apparently, if you criticize Zelensky, that means you hate Ukrainian civilians, which is really weird, but that's not really the case in reality. Let's talk about what happened. This is the section of the broadcast, the obviously press conference that has not been reported by the British mainstream media. This was the moment a reporter asked about Keir Starmer lying about free speech in the UK. First President Trump, then JD Vance, and then Marco Rubio. They all went doom, doom, doom. They all went and did a robust response to it. Let's go to that.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on its behalf. How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic?
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about that?
We have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of those, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made at Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one, that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
JD? It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the President's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country, and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
That's the key point, by the way, because the concern that Marco Rubio and JD Vance mentioned was actually not even just on behalf of the British people, but also the American citizens. Because the Metropolitan Police in the UK said, we're going to come after Americans. If they say something online against us, we're going to extradite them. Obviously, they can't, but that's what they've been saying. The difference between the way the Trump presidency dealt with Starmer as opposed to Zelensky was because the special relationship and the cultural similarities within the UK and the US meant that Starmer was not an idiot 2 days ago, when he was in the Oval Office, when there was a slight mention of this in front of the cameras, they did a banter, and Starmer was like, no, I believe in free speech, basically downplayed it, disarm. But now they've confirmed that in private, in the meetings, they've actually attacked him. They have brought these issues up, including the risk to American citizens if they say something online. And now we have the situation where that moment has not been reported or broadcast by the British mainstream media. They didn't want to show this because, number one, when President Trump, J.D. Vance, and Marco Rubio were attacking Starmer, they were still doing it in a very reasonable way, very calm and collected. And also, this was part of the same Oval Office drama session, which meant that they didn't want to show these three being so calm and collected about it, even when they were attacking Keir Starmer, because they just wanted you to just see out of context that couple of minutes of the shouty, the row that they had with Zelensky. They didn't even want to show the full version of the whole press conference anyway. But this showed that they had the reasonable approach. That's why in public, in front of the cameras, Starmer knew that. Starmer was actually smart, like Macron. He's like, okay, we're in front of the cameras. Anything that they say, I'm just going to nod, do the banter. He knew at the meeting itself that they're going to bring it up. Now, we didn't know if they did. Now we do know. Now we know that President Trump and J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, all three of them, went against Starmer and David Lammy in that meeting behind closed doors, and that's how it should have been done anyway. If Zelensky was smart, he would have done the same thing. But he doesn't have the same diplomacy in terms of their tactics and skills. That's where the whole thing erupted yesterday. Now, there's been a lot of reaction to this. Someone said, I honestly nearly choked when Keir Starmer said in front of the other world leaders that the UK has free speech. No, we used to, before he and Labour got elected. There are people sitting in prison now, all ages, both sexes, no previous criminal history. That proves that is a lie. Another one said, Dear Elon, please, could you put an automatic VPN on X set to somewhere in the US? Thank you, the United Kingdom. There's also been some other people saying, why didn't the British media televise this? Why do you think? They didn't want people to know this. They didn't want their Prime Minister to be humiliated. And they didn't want to show, because as I said, the way the President and Vice President and obviously the Secretary of State, every single person, when they were talking about this, they didn't come across as irrational, crazy, loud people, because the media wanted to think of those three as that. But that's not really true. And the same level of tone was being done at the beginning with President Zelensky. Then things kicked off. Now, this is where we have a problem in the UK, because the problem is not really just about the Prime Minister when it comes to free speech. They are using existing regulators for broadcasters, traditional broadcasters, to come after 2CTV and other channels. They are now confirming the plans for Ofcom, the so-called broadcast regulator, to actually now regulate and monitor YouTube channels. Now, we still don't know how they plan to do this, because there's so many channels out there and also other platforms as well. So they could either have a blanket policy, that's one option, or they could be selective and say, well, that channel and that channel, we're going to do something. Or they're just going to tell YouTube and other platforms, you have to basically delete anytime someone says something. That's the only way they can do. But we do know that new media will eventually die in the United Kingdom. That's why a lot of people are thinking about moving their operations elsewhere. Some people are looking at the Republic of Ireland, for example, next door. But they're also in the EU. And the powers of Ofcom is going to be eventually copied by the European Union. Now, unless the only place at this point will be, you will be more free in terms of broadcasting if you're in Gaza than in Europe. Now, that says a lot. But they don't have Ofcom in Gaza, so that's why you're free. Now, where are we going to go? Now, cancel culture against free speech is not just the Prime Minister, it's not just the bureaucrats, it's also on a societal level. And those who claim to be, for example, centre-right, the so-called conservative side. Now, they're not, by the way. For example, the tribalism, political tribalism means if you criticize President Zelensky, they say you hate innocent civilians in Ukraine who are getting killed. That's what they say. They say if you want to basically be pro-humanity, you have to love Zelensky. If you don't, that means you love Putin, which is kind of ironic considering my background is Iranian. I could never be a supporter of Putin anyway, but this goes to certain people. There is a news outlet, small news outlet, called Vote Watch. Some of you are familiar with Vote Watch. These guys have been very friendly with me, complimentary. I've helped them in the past. And they are technically a conservative outlet, but obviously they're very pro-Zelensky. And something happened tonight. Now it's time for story, guys. Bedtime story, get ready. It's a very good example of political tribalism becoming toxic. Okay, so my fiance, Danielle, did a joke because Zelensky went to Downing Street wearing the same jumper as yesterday. She said, did the Russians blow up his wardrobe, or does he only own one outfit? It's a joke. It's supposed to have free speech, right? Now, obviously, if you say that, that means you love Putin. That's how it works right now in the UK. Vote Watch replied, did Churchill not have bad mannerism? Okay. And were those mannerisms relevant compared to what he was fighting against, just as Zelensky's fighting? Just seems you folks are posting what you think will get you clicks and likes, an immature herd mentality rather than morals. And what's important, ironically, they're saying herd mentality, the people who are literally doing idol worship, tribalist worship. They attacked my fiance. So she said, why are you acting like I praise Putin? I just criticized Zelensky for not having good manners when asking for money. Calm down, babes. Fair enough. Then they said, I haven't said you praise Putin. You folks need to grow up a little and realize that people are dying over there. I hate it when people use that argument. People are dying over there. People are dying everywhere. Do Vote Watch care about people in Gaza right now? But it's ironic me saying it, by the way, for the record. Go Israel. But, just pointing out the hypocrisy, right? At the hands of Russia, and that not helping Russian propagandists is more important than you getting a little of the meaningless anonymous online attention. Wow. So my fiance said, you're so boring, go away. I've told her well. Then they attacked me. Then they came for me. They said, how come you've gone from openly supporting Ukraine to openly posting anti-Zelensky clickbait, Maya? You're better. I don't think they know the definition of clickbait. So I basically reposted what Danielle said, a joke. It was a joke, right? About Zelensky's outfit. Ironically, I'm actually wearing a Zelensky style t-shirt tonight. So see, I'm actually supporting Zelensky apparently. Apparently that's clickbait. It's not clickbait. It's just a joke being reposted. They don't understand clickbait. I will always support innocent civilians, especially those who are getting killed. Doesn't really matter who they are. Innocent civilians, it's not their fault. Innocent Ukrainians, it's not their fault that the Russians invaded their country. Now, you can criticize the actual political leaderships and talk about geopolitics. That's a whole different thing. But apparently you can't criticize the leader. So I said, criticizing Zelensky is not the same as attacking innocent civilians in Ukraine who are getting killed. This tribal worship nonsense must stop. Zelensky is not an angel. No political leader is, and none of them is immune from criticism. Absolutely. I will make fun of Churchill for wearing pajamas. I don't care. I will. I mean, what's the point? Everybody is human. Calm down, dear. Then they responded, you are constantly posting clickbait nonsense in a desperate bid for attention. It's all you self-described low-talent social media influencers ever do, sacrificing morals and accuracy in a pathetic daily hunt for likes and revenue. Grow up, get a life, get some decency. They poked the bear, guys. You guys know my policy on this channel, even during the live stream. If we have trolls, I'm gonna have to put them down like a dog, beautiful dog. So here we go. They call me low life, low talent, whatever influencer, right? Getting likes. For the record, this is their channel now on YouTube, 1,000 likes, subscribers. I had to do it. Vote Watch is the same organization that have been very complimentary about 2CTV's success. They have even asked my help in the past. They have also recently asked to collaborate with 2CTV and have had me on their tiny channel previously. Now they're calling me low talent influencer. My background is Iranian, and Putin's support for IRGC has resulted in the death of my relatives, so I'm always against Kremlin. But it doesn't mean I will never criticize Zelensky. Supporting innocent Ukrainians doesn't mean you have to blindly praise a political leader. I've also criticized Netanyahu in the past while being a supporter of Israel. No one from the Jewish nation attacked me because they understand logic and reason. Vote Watchers, their tribalism is as embarrassing as Tucker Carlson's trip to a Russian supermarket. I had to do it. They asked for it. Absolute idiots. So I have done shout outs in the past in favor of Vote Watch. They asked for my help. I've asked you guys to support them, to subscribe. It's your choice, but I don't know why you would subscribe to that channel anymore if you've already subscribed. By the way, because they started as a website and they do obviously news articles and all that stuff. But the people who begged for my help and wanted to collaborate with me, calling me the Iranian guy, pro-Putin. Ah, beautiful. All right, let's have some fun with you guys. What's going on with the chats? We go first to the chat from Australia. Thank you. And there isn't an angel and a demon. Demon when it comes to war. Just demons. Fair? All right, what's going on? Selena says, simply love the videos to see better than any other Prime News channel. You don't get this level of chaos, right? Also, I tell you guys bedtime stories. Why not? Heather says, we love Trump to yell and embarrass Trudeau on TV. Trudeau got off light, except for the tariffs. We shouldn't be punished for these wacko nut jobs. So again, same approach was taken when it came to Trudeau. It was the same with Macron and Starmer. Because Trudeau, Macron and Starmer, they understand basic diplomacy. They get briefings. So they know that they have to not poke the bear in front of the cameras when it comes to Trump. So both sides, all sides basically did niceness, hugging each other, a bit of banter. Behind closed doors, Trump first went after Trudeau. In public, it was nice. And then he did the tariffs. With Macron, threats. Now with Starmer, he's attacking him. Even though obviously 2 days ago, they were nice. And everybody was like, come on, Trump should have attacked Starmer publicly in the Oval Office. And then some of the same people said, oh, why was Trump so mean to Zelensky in front of the cameras? You wanted him to do the same thing to Starmer, but you didn't like it when he did it to Zelensky. The reason it happened with Zelensky was because of the back and forth, both sides. There was also a tiny bit of, to be objective, miscommunication in terms of the translation as well. Because in terms of using certain words, the way Zelensky was saying it, the other side didn't get it, and vice versa as well. That was the language barrier didn't help. But Zelensky's attitude in terms of the body language and all that didn't help. Whereas Starmer, Macron and Trudeau, they just sat there, did the classic diplomacy, smiled, done. Then they dealt with everything else behind closed doors. Stu says, clearly the missing money didn't go on a tailor. That's how you do it, Danielle. That would have been a better one. That's good. See? You should be able to mock everyone. Because they said this stupid thing, by the way. The Vote Watch people. Have they responded to me yet? Also, I don't think they understand the meaning of the word clickbait, which is kind of funny. But they said to me, stay with me. Yeah. Be honest, Maya. Are you also going to be mocking Churchill for wearing civilian clothes during the meetings in the States? They thought I'm an idiot. They thought I'm tribalist. They thought because I love Churchill and everything is done for us, I'm going to say, no, of course there's an exception with Winston Churchill. So I said, yeah, all political leaders should be able and allowed to be mocked. No one is immune from criticism or being mocked. No idea, no religion, no government, no country. That includes the great legend that is Winston Churchill. And many people have made fun of his clothing and his weight, but doesn't mean he's not great. He's still great. These people are so emotional. It's all started with the millennials, my generation. Millennials started this emotional nonsense. Just crybabies all the time. Calm down, dear. Alex says, spot on as always, Maya. One day I will make a channel inspired by your funny sharing of the truth around the globe. God bless you. Good luck with that. And of course, we will support you unless you come after me. Good luck, Alex. Thank you. Bev says, you are definitely not low talent. I like you. I don't agree with everything you have said, but that's okay. Long live free speech. How dare you, Bev? Of course you shouldn't agree with everything I say. And it will be quite concerning if someone completely agrees. I mean, unless it's natural, then someone would 100% agree with almost everything I say. But it's probably not healthy if you try to agree with everything someone says. You should always disagree with some stuff because that's just a natural state of humanity. But it doesn't mean you have to stop supporting, for example, this channel. Because, for example, I say vegans should be... I'm not going to get there again. I'm going to get cancelled again. Pineapple Water says... I love vegans, by the way. Just not the political ones. I want my best friend to watch you in the US, but she won't feel you are objective with the bust of Trump in the background. I have been attempting to enlighten her while keeping our friendship. What's that got to do with anything? So the whole point of the transparency of this channel is that unlike CNN or Sky News, I don't claim to be impartial. Everybody knows my leanings. This is a conservative leaning channel. But you can still be objective. So the comment, you should have used the word probably impartial. I'm not impartial. Everybody already knows my subjective opinions. They're transparency, and that's what the media should do. So be honest about your leanings, then you can be objective. In the past, I've criticized President Trump. Recently, despite also having this flag, which I'll put on every time I talk about Israel, I'm a supporter of the Jewish nation, but I've also criticized Prime Minister Netanyahu. That's how you can be objective. As long as you're honest with your public, someone's thinking, say, he's a United fan. Yeah, of course. I've had more people unsubscribing from the channel for me being a United fan because I'm from London. Obviously, we support Man United. Most of the fans of United are either in London or Tokyo or Seoul. Literally, all the Asians. But yeah, the best way you can do it is be honest about your leanings, and then you can be objective. Then you can criticize your own side. I've criticized the Tories, I've criticized Reform UK. Some of the snowflakey Tories and Reform UK got offended. Oh, Maya's being mean to us. I don't care. That's not how life works. Stop with this tribalist nonsense. RG from Israel says, Israel just, oh, by the way, it's now 22 minutes past. Their ceasefire is over, by the way. Israel just announced as per the request, the ceasefire will extend. Oh, did they extend it now? So the moment we went live, it was supposed to stop. Have they done it? Oh yeah, they've confirmed it now. But they're just saying, oh, it's the proposal. Okay, it's the proposal. Yes, just a proposal. Will extend for the entire month of Ramadan and the duration of Passover. So 23 minutes ago, just as we were going live, Hamas said that they're ending the ceasefire. IDF have prepared to now re-enter Gaza, but we'll see what this proposal would actually do. I mean, there will be a bit of extension perhaps. AFC Man UK says, Maya's new sitcom, That Iranian Guy, coming soon. Gonna be bigger than EastEnders. Another super chat. Thank you, Charlie Tango. And the Pilgrim Media says, I lived in the UK when they left for the Falklands. That was a while ago. Keep up the good work, TC. Thank you so much. And the super sticker from Lena Namiro. Thank you. And saying, what would the Prime Minister Thatcher think? Oh, she would have been very robust on these snowflakey weirdos who are emotional creatures. Grow up, man up, and woman up. I hope you realize that most of those people are not real, just my humble opinion. Which ones? You mean Vote Watch or the interest in the live chat? Where are we? Heather says, I hope Trump doesn't sit on the sidelines when the war kicks off in Gaza again. The worry should be if Netanyahu sits on the sidelines, because Trump keeps saying, go in and attack them. And every time Netanyahu makes a compromise. Twice Trump gave a green light to Netanyahu recently. No, I mean, President Trump is also today, confirmed the latest trade deal with Israel in terms of the arms and equipment and bombs and everything else. So the support is still there. Another super chat saying, as a US Marine vet, I want this war to stop. It's amazing that Ukraine has survived this long. Yeah, it's quite impressive actually. But they have no chance of winning this war. Sue for peace, stop the killing. To be fair, massive credit, by the way, to obviously massive support from the West, but the Ukrainians' resilience as well, because this war was supposed to only last for a few days, according to Putin. But yeah, you can't be that ambitious. You can't take Moscow. Like, it's going to lead to something bigger. Marsh Cohen says, it's quite sad at this point. People still believe that Bibi has the balls to do what he didn't do since 2009. Even Trump sees how much of a chicken he is. See, Marsh Cohen lives in Israel. Now he's going to get accused by Vote Watch that he's against Israel because he just criticized Netanyahu. Oh, how mean. Oh, crazy people everywhere, right? Jojo says, Churchill said we will fight them on the beaches. Starmer said, and welcome them in. Jojo, you win tonight's comment contest if there was one, which there isn't, but I think we should do that actually. And then we should do it probably once a week, best comment, and I'll give you a free merch. Or a free 2CTV membership, why not? Actually, speaking of which, before we give you guys the latest update, let's not forget, it's coming home. Yes, 10% discount for 2CTV Plus annual memberships if you use the promo code DOC10. Just go on 2c.tv. Where is it? Should be. There we go. 2c.tv. Check out the website. The app is coming soon as well. But we have the new documentary being released tomorrow. Groomed. Obviously about the grooming gangs. Alan says, I've lived in England all my 55 years. Live smack in the middle of Derbyshire and have always enjoyed freedom of speech. England is the most free nation anywhere. Really? Really, Alan? All the BS is exactly that BS. Did Alan just say England is the most free nation? I mean, should I try or do you guys want to take this in the live chat? You can have a debate with Alan. Because it's not accurate. It's definitely not accurate on so many levels. Alright, Nancy from Canada says, I find it interesting how countries want the help of the West, but then they change their mind. Which is it? Mind your business, but not if we need you? It's mostly about America, yeah. That's the attitude towards America. They will beg for their help, but if America says something more, like, whoa, you can't interfere. Don't worry, TC, we have 1.5 million immigrants to go front line and prove their loyalty to Europe, just like the ones that stayed in Ukraine. To be fair, getting foreigners to fight your war doesn't always work out well. Have you not seen what happened to the North Korean soldiers that went to help Russia in Ukraine? They got lost. A bunch of them actually got lost. How is that possible? No idea. Yeah, it's probably best not to use North Koreans. They're not really that skilled anyway. Don't know what Putin was thinking. Sabbath says, Starmer looked like Mr. Bean at an SAS briefing. He is Mr. Bean. Is anybody talking to Alan? Yeah, Manisha says, as Alan is on the sauce. As is on the sauce. Oh, Alan. I think, Alan was being nice. I think he was just very patriotic. Mark's channel says Alan is a Starmer fan. Now, maybe he's just very, very pro-England. And obviously, if we criticize the lack of free speech in the UK, we're going to get accused of hating the UK. These are the same people who do this. If you criticize Starmer, according to Vote Watch, that means you hate Britain, right? Nobody has the right to go through life and not being offended. It's an occupational hazard of living in society. And Whitcomb said, yeah. Offense is not given, it's taken. It's a subjective thing. Just man up and woman up. Now, the update. So, Gaza, it's going to blow up soon. I don't think there is going to be... But I did say the phase 2 is going to be very difficult to be achieved instantly after phase 1. Phase 1 is basically over for now. The actual ceasefire itself was already violated a few days ago by Hamas a couple of days ago. And now... Hamas have rejected the proposal We just got it 2 minutes ago. So Israel, obviously, as someone said in the live chat already, Israel accepted the US envoy's ceasefire proposal for Ramadan and Passover, right? They were supposed to extend it. We just got the confirmation. Actually, well, for now, as of now, Hamas have rejected the proposal. They might change their mind in the morning, but no, they have rejected it. So the IDF are preparing by the border, the northern side of Gaza, to re-enter the Gaza Strip. So the next few hours is going to be interesting. Let's see which side will hit first, unless Hamas grow up and pick the right decision and actually sign this deal for now to save their own lives. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, not just for watching, joining tonight's live stream, but also supporting this channel, despite all the drama and despite my clickbait and despite my big head and despite my Zelensky t-shirt. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.